I get excited. I'm like, oh yes, okay, and that keeps me going, knowing that I don't have to wait 3 days to hear back from you really helps a lot. Yes. It helps with the momentum, because I don't always get the opportunity to jump on it and do the work, but when I'm on it and I'm like in the zone, I love that, within 24 hours or less, you responded to me. Sometimes you responded to me within 2-3 hours, which is remarkable. I'm like, thank you. And it helps me to keep going while I still have the time to focus on the work, which has been great so far. So I would definitely recommend it to anyone. As a matter of fact, if I meet anyone that's in my position where I'm at right now and they need to, I'm definitely going to bring them your way, because so far it's definitely been worth the investment, and I'm really happy so far.
For me, I'm accomplishing my goals because there is detailed process, step-by-step process in your program as to what to achieve each week. And then we have a call each Friday to go over what we have accomplished and if we have any differences and any issues. So for me, I love it because it's a step-by-step process. You hold our hands through the beginning to the end, and it's made me see, all the things that I needed to get done, and I'm getting them done because there is accountability to getting them done and staying on track. So I do love that about the program.
I would say that if you want to grow your business, even if you're not sure what you want to do, this is a great program to be able to figure out what your niche is, or just to learn more about how to market your business. There's also the camaraderie, the support that you get. You're not alone. You're only alone if you choose to be. But the support and the help, whether it's with you, Sunday, or with someone else that's in the group, it's a great opportunity to learn, build, and explore and expand.
So the program overall was great. The initial start of the program was kind of crazy because I didn't know what I was getting into. I really didn't understand what we were going to do. I thought we were going to kind of just talk about travel, how we were going to, call people and say, hey, book a trip with me, or send out some mail to people, not email, but mail. So once I caught the groove of the classes and the trainings and working through that process of it, it became like real easy, real simple.
Okay, so permission to be raw, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I said, number one, she looks like me,
Awesome. That's exactly what I want to hear.
And it's good. I'm not biased or anything, but it was just the fact that it's hard to find someone to relate to you who knows. I've been told, don't post your picture and on your business in case there's someone who's not of your race and they won't book with you. And I'm like, well, how are they going to know who I am, right? So when I saw you, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go with her. And then I like that you were raw. You didn't beat around the bush. You just said what you had to say. I heard about the bees in your head, and I'm like, who is she talking to? So I just like it. I love the real you and how you let it be known. If you don't like it, then you might have to go somewhere else. And that's the kind of business that I want. I don't want to have to be a different person just so I can make money. So that was one of the main reasons.
Hello, how are you guys doing today? Let me know in the comments where you are watching from and what you are drinking. I've had a silo cup on a live in a long time, and I've got some spirits. I'm drinking some wine and I'm drinking water, and I am in Georgia. So let me know in comments where you're watching from and what you are drinking. Hey, Shantae, how are you? Hopefully everybody is doing okay. We're going to give it a couple minutes and let people get on. I do not want to run out of time like I did last week on last week's topic when we were going over part one of today's conversation. So let me know in comments what you are drinking and where you are watching from. Well, Shantae, you're going to need to fix that. You're going to need to go get something to drink. Tallahassee, grabbing some juice. How far is, where am I going to be? I'm going to be in Florida in June for some training. Clearwater, how far is Clearwater from Tallahassee, Michelle? I need to do a roundup and see who's there. And I got to remember when I'm supposed to fly out, but I think I'm coming in on a Wednesday night and then leaving Saturday or Sunday morning. I can't remember what, but how far is Clearwater from, oh, that's far. It's not close. So that's where I will be at the beginning of June. And we are 3 days away from Cancun. Is it 3 days? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we're about 4.5 days away from our first mastermind and fam trip. We are going to be in Cancun. I'm hosting 12 ladies in Cancun, Mexico. And not only are we going to be in Cancun, we're going to be in Cancun for Cinco de Mayo, which is like, to me, one of the most amazing holidays. And to be there in Mexico during Cinco de Mayo, I am very super duper excited. A little sad though, my son's, I think he's going to be 15. So 15 years ago, I was pregnant and we were having a fight party. I will never forget, 15 years ago, his birthday, the 5th of May, was on a Saturday because I was pregnant with him and I went into labor, and about 2 hours before our party started, like my water broke right there. And so his birthday is 5/6/7. So I never will ever forget his birthday. So yes, we will be in Cancun, Mexico during Cinco de Mayo. And we will also be going live while we're in Mexico. So hey, Robin, how are you? Are you packed? Are you ready to go? I am not packed. I've got 2 more days before I need to do the flurry of the packing. All right. Well, Michelle, I'd love to meet you. I will be there. I will let you know. I'll ping you and let you know when I'm coming in. But I'm almost positive it's a Wednesday through a Saturday type of deal. So your birthday is, may the force be with you. I'm such a Star Trek lover. Of course not. That's so funny. Yeah, I'm not packed. I did start to pull out clothes and put them on my bed. But there's nothing like packing the night before. That just keeps the blood, that just keeps you young. So ladies, where are the rest of you guys listening in from? Bermuda. You will be in Bermuda with Norwegian. Are you flying? Are you, Shantae, I know we had a conversation, was it last week or a couple weeks ago? Are you in, no, you just said where you're from. Where are you? Because Bermuda, New York. I was thinking that because Bermuda, I was actually looking at that cruise a couple of years ago. And I remember it was it's like I don't remember how many days going out of New York City. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing how that cruise is. I've always been like very, I used to, as a younger woman, used to watch everything, all things Bermuda Triangle. Like I was so infatuated by like all the disappearances. So I always wanted to go to the Bermuda Triangle area too. So. All right, so we got some people from the West Coast and the East Coast and even in between. So welcome. I'm super excited to be hosting you guys tonight. So in the normal fashion, we're going to ask a couple of questions because some of you were not here last week since we are doing a part 2 to this discussion. This is actually the last training on this topic that I'll be doing because we have been talking about offers for several weeks now. So if this sounds like you, or if this is you, type a 1, but if this isn't you, type a 0. So what I want to know is how many out there listening today have a core offer in their travel business. And so if you don't know what a core offer is, let me just give you a little bit of a recap so you understand exactly what's type 1 or 0. So 1 if you have a core offer, 0 if you do not. A core offer doesn't have to be a specific thing that you're selling, but you are super clear what you will be selling as your main moneymaker the rest of this year. So for example, if you know that groups are your thing, you already have planned to sell maybe a group trip every quarter this year, right? That would be your core offer, right? It is the main thing that you want to make money in your business, and don't tell me travel. So if you don't have a very specific thing, even if you don't have all the details, maybe you don't have it booked, you don't have it hooked, and you don't have it ready to go, but you know that you want to sell, let's say, the Bermuda trip, and you want to have a group Bermuda trip, every quarter in 2023, 2022, that would be a core offer, right? So it is a defined method that you will be using to sell and make money in your travel business. Type a 1 if you have a core offer. Type a 0 if you're very confused and you do not have a core offer. All right. Jazz, are you packed? So I just cannot wait to put my arms around your neck and all of the ladies who are joining us in Cancun. So Robin, you too. Jazz, nice to see you. All right, so we've got some 1s and we've got some 0s, and it's sort of a mix tonight. So we've got a lot, almost, you're better than me and Robin, because we are not packed. So I've got 2 more days before I start to do the pack dance. So, all right, so we've got some people who have got core offers and some people who do not. If you are one of the people that typed a 1, let me know. Do you have a method to get your offer in front of your ideal client? So if you love, I got a lot of people telling me they want high-end clients. I don't know what that means, but do you know who your client is? And do you have a way to get in front of your client? Type a 1 if you do, type a 0 if you don't. If you have a way to get in front of your most perfect client, when you think about the woman or couple or person that has booked with you and you just absolutely love that person and you want to work with more of those people, you have a way to get in front of them. Type a 1. If the answer is no, you don't, or you don't even know who your peeps are, type a 0. All right. So we are getting some 1s and some 0s. Okay. All right. And then my question, my number 3 question, I've forgotten what my question is. So give me a second. I wrote it down because if anything is true, it is that my memory is not as good as it used to be. Do you guys find that the older you get, the more I have to write everything down because I have the memory. I do not have the memory of an elephant. Let me just say that. I can't remember anything. And I forget what my number 3 question is. I asked it last week, so I wanted to make sure I knew. All right, number 3 is, do you guys have your goals written down? Type a 1 if you have your goals written down, a 0 if you do not have any goals. So do you have goals for the rest of 2023 in terms of your sales, whatever your goals may be? Do you have them written down? And blame it on the food we eat. Yes, I'm going to do that. Grinding nonstop atoms. I like that. No, yes, we got a lot of goal writers down. That's good. That's good. We have some people who have not, and that's okay because half a goal is better than no goal. That's no problem. All right, so ladies, there are a lot of new faces on here. Yolanda, hopefully you are doing well. Jolyn, nice to see you. So I see some familiar names in the list and some people not so familiar. But so before we dive in, let me introduce you to me. If you are new to this training, my name is Sunday Gardner, and I come to you every week talking all things launching and operating a successful and profitable travel business. I am also the online travel boss business coach to ladies and gents like you all. You guys are either new or existing travel agents who are ready to take it to the next level of your business. So super excited. There are many regular faces here, so welcome back. And for those that are new, I am super excited that you decided to take your Wednesday evening with me. And so this is part 2 of what I did last week. So I actually created a planner that allows you to go through and plan out what your core offer should look like. So I'm going to do a little bit of a recap. I'm not going to go through step 1 and step 2 because we went over that in detail. So if you'd like to catch that, that is available inside of the course. I'll also put that replay. So what I'm going to put now is a link to the planner. This will be taken down. So if you do not have the planner, get the planner right now. And grab the planner. And that is what we're going to be going over in just a minute. So let me share my screen. Let me see if I can be fancy and share my screen like I did yesterday. I think I can do this. All right. I think I can. All right. I'm going to. Can you guys hear me now? Yes? Okay, perfect. All right. So let me all right. Okay, perfect. All right. So let me just do a quick recap of what we are going through. So I won't go over this, but what I expressed to you guys last week was that I have this framework, and the framework is your service and booking framework. And it really are what this framework is designed to do is really to walk you through the steps necessary to plan out any type of service and or product that you have inside of your travel business. And so last week we went over step 1 and 2, and step 1 just at a high level is really about defining what your offer is going to be and what you need in order to be successful. So I went over each of these questions in detail last week. If you didn't catch that, I'll post the link to last week's training that goes over step 1. Step 2 is really about the plan. So what is it going to take, not only from an actual offer perspective, but also in terms of what you need. I consider us to be superheroes, but we also need sidekicks, right? So the planning in step 2 is really about what do you need to be the superhero that you are to your clients. And not only from a people perspective, but also from a promotional perspective. So we talked about these questions and what you need to consider in step 2 as well. And so tonight we're going to go over step 3 and step 4 inside of this. And so again, assuming that you have defined what your offer is, you've defined what is it that you want to do, what in terms of services or products, what you want to make money at, right? Is it cruises? Is it land trips? Is it a particular destination? My point last week is that you want to not be working with a myriad of different suppliers. You want to pick a supplier that you want to try out, or at least a couple of suppliers that you want to try out. And if you're trying out multiple destinations from them, that's okay. Pick a brand. That's also good as well, because the more specific and the clearer you are with whom you'll be working with, the stronger that supplier relationship can get. And then also what you include as a part of your trip can become easier for you to create and curate. Does that make sense? Now, this is an interactive session, so if you are not used to letting your fingers do the walking, get next to your computer so I can get some feedback here. So now step 3 is assuming you have identified what you want to offer, you understand what that promotion is going to look like, you understand who your client is, and you've gotten the plans together, you understand all of the details of when you're going to do the promotion, how many months in advance you're going to start promoting, right? I was just talking to a previous student, and she just did a launch. And one of the things that she wrote just in her update to me is that a lot of people were turned off by her launch of her promotion because it was a short turnaround. And we think, oh, well, people should be okay. It's a great deal. They'll wrap it up. But if you haven't really thought through the promotion of your offer, right, and you haven't given it enough time to, 1, let people get their money straight, 2, allow them to get payments if it's something that's a little bit higher than what their average, if they don't just have $3,000 laying around, right? Do you have a way for them to make payments? And so, inside of my program, like I actually talk to our students about the formula that they should use in terms of actually deciding on when a trip is. So what is clear about most suppliers is, post-COVID, it's a little bit lax, but pre-COVID, it was definitely 90 days, sometimes as much as 3 months, 3 to 2 months before your actual trip when the last payment needs to be made. So from a planning perspective, I at minimum want to give people 6 payments to do a trip payment. So if you say you want to go in January somewhere, you want to plan a trip for January 2023, 2 months before then is usually when the supplier's final payment is. I usually back it up 30 days. So that means payments would be due in, October for a trip that's in January, right? And so that means from a promotion perspective, if I want to do 6 months payments, 6 minus 10, that's 4. I should be promoting a trip that I want to do in January now, right? Does that make sense? So that's sort of the same formula that I just shared with you all. From a planning perspective, you want to make sure you understand when you need to do the promotion cycle, how many seats you're trying to sell. Make sure you understand what you need to do to make it happen. What I will tell you is that oftentimes when people start in any business, particularly in the travel business, but in any business really, they think, oh, I've got this great thing I want to sell, and they post it, and then when it doesn't sell, they're like, oh, it didn't sell. Why didn't it sell? It must be bad. And then you give up, right? That's not a promotion cycle. And so I teach my students what a promotion cycle is, what that looks like. What I would tell you is if you are touching somebody about 7+ times when it comes to your core offer that you're promoting, your campaign is probably not going to hit the numbers that you want it to. And if you haven't done the work to actually get the pre-seed and build relationships with people so that you're not launching to strangers, then your promotion is probably not going to do as well as you would like. All right. Let me know in comments if that makes sense. All right. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on promotions and how to run a promotion and what all of that means, but that's what you really need to be doing in step 2. Now, step 3 is all about getting it done, right? It's all about implementing, right? Is you have got your plan. You know when you're going to start your promotion. And I'm going to just use this as a general rule, right? If you are doing a trip that's in January, you want to give 6 payments. Now, I'm not saying you have to give 6 payments. I'm just saying that's what I do, right? So I want to do at least 6 payments when I'm doing something. So I try not to promote anything that's going to get me less than 6 payments unless it's something that I've already promoted before and I've already sold the seats into it and I'm just trying to get last minute seats. Does that make sense, kind of what I'm saying there? Let me know in comments if that's clicking. All right, perfect. So now you're in step 3 and you should have a plan already. You should know when that first promotion is going to go. You should know what the price points are. You should already have an audience that you're promoting to. the most expensive thing that you can do as a business owner is to try and sell a multiple $1,000 package to somebody who doesn't know you, who doesn't know you, doesn't have a relationship with you, and frankly, doesn't even trust you. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and literally I told her, I said, people know William Shatner more than they know you if you've not built a relationship with them, right? I mean, if you are a woman of a certain age like me, you know William Shatner from Star Trek, and he also is a spokesperson for Priceline, right? So people are familiar with his face, they're familiar with his voice. But if you don't know anybody and you've not done anything to build your audience, who are you going to be promoting to? Your friends and family, right? Like, I like my friends and family, but that's not who I want to be promoting my offers to. I want them to be people who love me, who like me, who know me, who trust me, right? And they want what I'm offering, right? And that's the same thing that you want to do. So if you don't have a means by which to get in front of your ideal perfect client, that's what you should be focused on before you start running a multiple $1,000 package. But assuming you got all that in place, step 3 is about you following the plan, right? It's making sure that you have a documented plan. You understand what it is that you're going to be doing, and you're just simply executing. The worst thing that you can do is try to be planning shit on the fly. And then what happens is you make mistakes. And listen, you're going to make mistakes either, but you're going to make more mistakes when you're planning on the fly and trying to implement, right? This congeniality for the younger. That's so funny. So that's what you want to do, is execute the plan. So if you don't have a document before you get into step 3, make sure you have a plan to the date. Like, I literally am in the process of planning a promotion, right? And I am a project manager. That is my background. So I have the calendar out. I've got my days out. I know how many emails I'm writing. I know which days are going out. I know which time they're going out. I know if they're conflicting with other emails that I've already got scheduled in the queue, right? Because I don't want to be sending conflicting messages. I know when my posts are going out. I know when my ads are starting. I know when my follow-up ads are going, right? That plan is clear. The team understands the plan. And we, in step 3, are following the plan. That's what you want to be doing in this first question here, is what will you do to ensure that you follow the plan? And let me give you some examples of why you need to take this first question and take it to heart. Because there is nothing more discouraging when people don't respond to your post. Like, you're like, oh shit, am I doing the right thing? Oh my goodness, like, I've not done the right thing, right? So you're like, nope, I'm just not going to do it. And you like run away and you fall apart, right? We got to be stronger than that. So if you know that you're not the one to necessarily, like, you're going to get scared if you're tracking the metrics every day, don't track the metrics every day, track them every week, right? And then give yourself the opportunity to review what's going on, what's not going right, and then make adjustments. But and I'm going to tell you, ladies, I am an emotional person. And I would say I'm even more emotional since just coming out of being ill last quarter. And right, so, the mind is a funny thing. It's not a funny thing. The mind is a bitch, right? And so are the voices in your head, right? And so what I mean by that is that your mind, no matter if you're doing the right thing or not, like, your mind is like not structured for the long haul. Like, it's not. Literally today, I was listening to some affirmations. So I listened to a variety of different affirmations throughout the day. If like I'm feeling discouraged or I'm feeling like, and that is my fail safe. So like, if there's voices that are telling me, and don't think I'm crazy, I'm probably a little bit of cray, but the point is like, if you've got negative self-talk in your head, like, what are you going to do to stop that? Like, what are you going to do when shit's not going right according to the plan that you set? Maybe it's just not that the first post isn't good. Maybe the title sucks. Maybe you didn't post it at the right time. Whatever that is, it doesn't mean that the whole plan is wrong, that you need to throw it all out, right? So you need to make sure that you've got your own fail safes in works to ensure that you follow the plan. Now, if your plan is poor, you'll determine that at the end of the cycle, right? You'll determine that and you'll make adjustments accordingly. But again, what I hate for you to do is to make decisions on the fly based on emotion. So you want to do some self-assessment here. I am weak. I've been doing this for years, but there is nothing that gets me down more. I don't care how successful I've been in the past. If I'm in the middle of a promotion And I'm not getting the numbers, like when things like it depresses me. So I know what to do. I don't look at the numbers every day. Like I am a psychotic about it. I'm like, okay, what are the numbers? Like, right. So I can't drive myself crazy like that. Like, or I'll stop an ad in the middle of it. So I don't look at it. Like I look at it once a week. I track the numbers. We don't talk about it every day. We talk about it once a week in our team, right? So those are the things that I do because I'm emotional. I'm going to make like some rash decisions and I need to let myself cool down before I start to make decisions. I don't know if you guys are like that, but I know for sure I'm like that. But I've taken some hard look at how I operate and how I do things. So I need to make sure that I'm not going to get in the way of my own self, right? And that may be the same thing for you. So that's really what the first question is really about, is if you know that you're OCD, right? And one thing, like, so let me give you an example. Like if you're running a Facebook ad and you find a misspelling, you can't stop it. Like you shouldn't stop it, right? Because then you're going to make everything reset over. If you know that about yourself, don't look at it. Like once I hit publish on a Facebook ad, I don't look at it. Like I don't look at it. Like I said, I'll look at the numbers maybe once every other day. But like if it's a new set, like I don't change anything. I don't edit anything. You got to let it run its numbers, right? All right. So Yolanda, and you are already inside of the program. So we will absolutely work on you understanding how to track your numbers. We have a whole chapter on tracking your numbers, your KPIs, and what you should be tracking. All right. So the next question is what is the thing that will keep you from following your plan? Like, is it your own? Is it you? Is it you? Is it your confidence? Is it that you may not know something? Right? Is there something else that may keep you from? Is it your family? Right? Like, is there some big event that's coming up? Right? What is it that may keep you or derail you from your own plan? Right? And you got to be honest, because if you don't put those things in place, right, and you don't acknowledge them, your plan's not going to be successful. And your plan is only as successful as you implement it. If you got a plan that's on paper and you don't act and you don't do, you're not going to see success, right? You're not going to see failure. And frankly, I'd rather you all see failure on a plan than you execute it so we can evaluate what went wrong or what you need to change than to have a perfect plan unexecuted. Does that make sense? Right? Okay, so anxiety may be one of those things, confidence, right? So, what is it? What is it that you're anxious about? What is it that you're lacking confidence about? In this question, write those things down. What are you anxious? Are you anxious that things won't go wrong? Right. Well, what won't go wrong, right? I want you to actually explore what that anxiety is coming from. Where's the root of that, right? Robin, we need to talk, right? We need to talk about what does that anxiety look like to you? What and what does go wrong? And what will happen if something does go wrong, right? Because really what I will tell you about our minds is that we have an amazing power to dream up all of the things that potentially could go wrong in a situation, which then further puts us more anxious, more in fear. And that is just our mind's trick designed for us not to move forward, right? Because we've got all these reasons why. Well, I actually had this exercise from a coach tell me that, like, when you're feeling that way, write out all of the things that could go wrong. And then answer this question. Well, what happens if it comes true? What will happen, right? What is the worst thing that could happen? And what can you do to address it, right? All right. So I am a worrier, right? So I get it. Like I have suffered from anxiety, like severe anxiety in the past. And and I still do. It's not something that I think that goes away. So I think for you and for me too, what I do when I'm anxious is I've got so many journals. My mom makes so much fun of me, but I've got a journal and I write those things down. Like when I'm feeling worry or I'm feeling stress, I write down, what is it? What's the root of it? What's causing me to feel that way? What happens if it does happen? What am I going to do? Like I write out, and the fact that I'm able to write out my response to what that thing is that I'm worried about, that then helps calm me down, right? So I'm certainly no doctor as it comes to that, but all I would say is I think that the best thing that you can do when you're in a situation of worry is to write down what is it that you're worried about, what what is going to happen to you if it does happen, the thing that you're worried about, and what can you do in the event that it does happen, right? And that's called risk mitigation, right? In the project management world, that is risk mitigation. Is like, if something were to go bad, what is your plan? What is your response plan? It's called a response action that you have to do that. All right, so let me not get so project management technical on you guys, but listen, I understand what it's like to be to have anxiety and to worry about stuff. All right, so really, step 3, like before we even go to like the next slide, step 3 is just about getting it done, like, and making sure that you remove all of the barriers to seeing your own success. Now, this is not to say that you won't make mistakes. This is not to say that things won't get off track or whatever. That's not really, I don't want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on making sure that you have mitigated your own risk, that you've removed the barriers. Let me give you a personal barrier. When I was in Texas, one of the biggest barriers for me, right? So part of my marketing plan is to show up and to add value to my community, build relationships through these trainings that I do. And one of the things in my family is I had my lives in Texas. I had them scheduled at 7 on Wednesday. And Wednesday was the first day that my husband came back to work. And he would interrupt my lives like every single Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. So I was like, you know what? And he would interrupt them with like, what's for dinner? Where's dinner? What's going on? So I had to like actually structure like my personal life so that wouldn't happen, because it would frustrate the hell out of me when he would do it. He'd come in through the front door. My office was right in the front of the house. And he would come in and he would interrupt me, and it would just frustrate me, and it would just knock me out. So I had to rearrange our personal, right? Like, so I would text him before he came home. I would tell him that dinner was ready. I would remind him that I was going live, and I had to do that, right? But I had to accept, like, I couldn't like make him stop doing that, because every time he did it, right? But I created an environment for which that it would minimize my stress, and it would allow me to do these lives uninterrupted without the frustration, right? That he brought to the table on that, right? Do you have a personal situation that you need to contend to? Do you have a husband who's going to come home in the middle of your work session and interrupt you because of ABCD, right? What do you need to do to mitigate that, right? So that's the thing, is like, I would just be like, I would be pissed off at him. Like, I would be like, God, why can't you just acknowledge that this is what I am doing for a living? And this is my life, so stop interrupting, right? No, I had to create an environment that was a win-win for everybody, right? So we knew the dinner was home. He didn't have to worry about if it was here, right? He already knew, and he wouldn't have to bug me when he came. So I was like, and then I used to put a sign and be like, okay, I'm live, so don't like slam the door. Don't get the dog barking. Don't do all these things, right? So same thing for you. What are the things that you need to do in your personal life to ensure that you can also see the success and execute in the way that you want to execute? Right. And so I'm looking at some of the comments, and someone says, yeah, comparison is the worst thing in the world. And so like, I'm in a lot of Facebook groups, and, and it's so funny because it's not funny, but like I'm in a lot of travel agent groups. I have a lot of travel agents who are friends with me. And so all I see all day long are, I'm also in my competitors groups, and I just see a lot of information bombarding me, right? And I am an ADHD type of person. Like, I am not making fun of anyone who may have ADHD, but I do believe I do, because when I see stuff, I am so easily distracted, and I literally can go down a rabbit hole for hours because I see something, or I can get engrossed in something. And so when I'm in the middle of a promotion cycle, I turn all of it off. Like, I literally actually turn off all notifications, and I don't ever really turn them back on. I decide when I'm going to go into groups and look at information, but I turn off all of that noise, because it's not about control. I don't even want to have a position of where I need to control myself. I just don't want to see it, right? Because it's going to be distracting to me, right? It doesn't bring me the value that I need for the task that's at hand. So when it comes to comparisons, first of all, this is your own personal journey, right? And if any race that you're in, it's a race against yourself, not against anybody else, right? So if you're feeling like, oh, well, so-and-so is doing better than me, or so-and-so has got this and I don't have this, or whatever, stop doing it to yourself, right? Don't do it. The only thing I can tell you that would be the best usage of your time when it comes to your travel business is understand what your competition is doing, understand what your clients want, and just focus on providing value. Don't focus on any other travel agent, any other travel professional, anybody that you see in a group that's doing this, sold 100,000. I remember like 4 years ago, there was this group I was in, and this travel agent had announced that she had made 6 figures on a package that she had just sold, and whatever. She did like this big 7-day cruise. She did it, I think it was in Greece, and it was a 7-day cruise, and on the front end, she did a trip. And she did this, and I was just like, oh my God, that's amazing, right? And I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to be doing that. Why am I not doing that? And I'm like, you know what? Like, because you're not. And that's not the space that you're meant to be in, right? But what I can do and what I can tell you is design what space you want to be in, and then focus on being in that space, right? So do step 1 and step 2, right? And step 3 is about being in that space, and don't let distractions get you off of the space that you're meant to be on right now. Hopefully that helps any of you guys who are feeling that way. All right, so let's go to step 4. All right, any questions before I go to step 4? Any questions on step 3? Just get it done. Like, follow the plan and do it. And don't let anything stand in your way. And if there is something standing in your way, pick it up and move it out of your way. All right. Step 4 is about tracking and monitoring results. So the first thing is if you've run a promotion, and let me give you a definition of what a promotion is. A promotion is a little project, right? So what the definition of a project is that it has a beginning and it has an end, right? So there's a start date and there's an end date. There's no such thing as an ongoing promotion, right? It is a beginning and an end. And if you have had a promotion in the past, you should have some basic information about, well, what was the length of the promotion? What were you trying to sell? How many did you sell? How many people expressed interest, right? And of those people that expressed interest, what did they buy, right? How did your last promotion go? If you haven't run a promotion, then just skip this step, skip this item, right? But if you have run a promotion, you want to be able to document, like, how did it go? Just generally, let's answer the general question. How did it go? Like, were you happy with the way things went? Were you excited about it during the promotion? Were you not so excited? Were your spirits up? Were they down? Like, you need to be able to write the story of the promotion. Does that make sense? Like, you should be able to say, oh, the first post did well, or the first email did good, or, the first information session, I had a lot of people, right? You need to have a story about how the promotion went. What were the key wins that you had? Like, what went like super well? Like, what, was it the fact that you had a BDM come speak to your community, right? Or you did a training and it went amazing, right? What was it? And you may be thinking, well, I don't do training. Well, maybe you should do training, right? Because you guys are experts. And as an expert, that means that you have something to train about, right? You could be training people about how it's like to go to the destination that your promotion is about post-COVID, right? How is it there? How are the resorts treating people post-COVID? How is it coming back into the States post-COVID if you're going out of the country, right? You are literally a trainer. You have education about what you do, and you should be training people about that. You may not call it training, you can call it educating, but it's still really the same thing, right? Does that make sense? Right? So what went like super well? What did you really like about the promotion that you just did in step 4? So step 4 is about assessing what you just executed in step 3, right? What went great? Next question is, what didn't go so great? What were some of the things that you struggled with? Let me give you an example. When I first started doing promotions, I struggled with emails. Like, that was a really hard thing because I was like, what do I write? Like, I don't know what to write. I don't know how to promote. I didn't know how to promote the things. I had a hard time figuring out what to write about the promotion. So, if you're doing a promotion, and I say you need to text somebody 7+ times throughout the promotion, right? That can be via email. That can be via social media. That can be via some sort of live that you do, or video training, or video show up that you do, communication, information, right? There's many ways that you can touch, but like, what are your challenges? So for me, it was always email. Like, what do I say in the email to promote it? Like, do I Like, should I include the price or should I not include the price? What do I say and do to get it? So that was a challenge. It was the structure, it was the content for the email. That was something that was a struggle for me. So what would happen is I was like, okay, so instead of me trying to figure out what to write beforehand, a key challenge that I would have is I would be like, okay, so every day for 5 days, I'm going to write an email. I'm going to write it at the beginning of the day. Well, it's a challenge because I have a busy life. So that, I set myself up for failure, but that would have been something I would have wrote. So it showed up so many times in promotions that I was like, I'm never doing content during the promotion. I will have the content pre-written out down to the questions and polls that I will do. I will have it all pre-written out. Because what happens is in the heat of the moment, I'm in the middle of executing the promotion. I'm too busy talking to people. I'm too busy doing this, and I don't ever get to promoting and following the plan, right? So does that make sense? You want to make sure that you understand what didn't go according to plan the way that you had thought, and also how you felt about it, right? So whatever that may be. Now, this is, again, intended for you to be doing what is also referred to as a lessons learned after the fact, right? So the key challenges is really, and if you're like me, like I actually keep a notebook, and so like as things are going that I don't like or that I love, I actually write them in my notebook as while I'm in the middle of the promotion and promoting that thing, so that when I get ready to do our lessons learned at the end of it, I remember. Because I mean, the thing is like when things are going really great, they're really great. When things are going really bad, they're really bad, and you may not remember either one of those at the end if you don't write it down. So be a steward of your own story, even as much as the promotion story that you have for your offers. All right. So the next thing is, what would you change? What would you do differently? Like, what do you want to do differently? Maybe you didn't do enough emails. Maybe you did too many and you're like, nobody opened them, right? So like, are you like, if you do emails, are you tracking open? Are you tracking clicks? Are you tracking the key information about the thing that you're doing? So what I said to you guys last week is what I'll say to you again this week is if you do a thing, you need to track a thing. If you create a thing, you need to promote a thing. And if you promote a thing, you need to track the promotion. Like that's sort of the steps is like, if you create an offer, promote the offer. And if you promote the offer, track the metrics associated with the promotion. Don't just do a post. Like you need to know like how many people are responding to your post. If it's so voluminous, it doesn't matter. Then you know that the post type is good. You know that the content is good, right? How are you following up with the people, right? What would you make in terms of changes to your, what would you make in terms of changes to the plan that you have? Because what you effectively are creating for yourself is a promotion plan that you'll be able to just rinse and repeat as you get stronger, right? So the more you can evaluate what you didn't like or did like, or maybe you just didn't like it because you didn't know how to do it, whatever that may be, you at least understand what changes you would make. Like, for example, like, again, I'm not the strongest when it comes to email marketing. So one of the things that I have tracked in our past promotions is that we have a post email series that goes on after each of the promotions that we have. And what I had noticed is that people weren't opening them. I also noticed that we had low open rates, right? So that told me that we needed to do a better job in getting people to open our emails. Because if you create an email and nobody's opening it, then you might as well not have created it, right? So if the majority of the people are not opening your emails, it's probably the title of your email that needs to change, right? It could be that maybe your email list is dead and you need to do something to rev it up, right? So that could be something that you need to evaluate. So every action that you're taking needs to have some reaction that you want. And if it doesn't, an evaluation of what it is that you potentially can do differently. What's the number one thing that you would do again, right? What you're like, this for sure is something we're going to always do when we do a promotion, right? For me, nothing gets me more excited about promotion than showing up inside of the community and talking about it, right? I love this type of interaction. So my promotions always include some way where I actually get to interact with my audience and my community, right? Is that what lights your fire? And is that like what gets you hype? Right? So what is that number one thing out of what you've done that you know that you will always do? Like, and reward yourself and be proud of that. Right? If going live is that's your thing, Yolanda, then that's the thing that you need to make sure is a part of your plan and that you do it. And then maybe like if you do a promotion and you went live every day for 5 days, or you went live every, whatever that cycle is going to be for you, right? And it didn't go well. Let's say maybe you didn't get a lot of attendance, right? Well, it doesn't mean that the live sucks. It means that you need to do more on promoting that event, right? So that's the thing that you want to evaluate. So don't necessarily throw something out just because it didn't go well. Maybe there's something that you need to do to ensure that it'll go well. So if you know, and Yolanda, I'm picking on you because you wrote this. If you know that going live is one of the things that you love to do, and if anyone out there is a video lover, right? Most people I meet are not video lovers, they're video shy. But if you know that video is what you love to do, right, then your promotion cycle not only needs to include going live, but you need to also a promotion around getting people to that event. Does that make sense? Like what we do when it comes to getting people to this particular event is a lot. We do a lot to get you guys here, right? We post inside of the group, we do emails, we do text messages. We do a lot to make sure that we have attendance to this. So I would have to say that the only time that we don't have people who attend this live event is because Facebook is not shown any of my posts, but I still have my email list, right? Like, so we still have a way to communicate with the community. So same thing for you, right? All right. Then the last one, if you got the number one thing that you do, what's the number one mistake that you'll avoid in the future? So let me give you an example of a really bad mistake I did in a promotion that I will, or just like I had this cruise many years ago. And I was with a host agency, and I did not know that I needed to change the email address that the cruise communication was. I just assumed, since the account was mine, that I was the one that booked the cruise. And you know what assuming does, right? That the cruise communication would come to me. No, well, there's a little place for Royal Caribbean that you need to change who the communication about the order or the booking needs to go to. So they were sending communications to my host agency, and I lost some of my cabins. And I didn't know it until it was too late. So I was getting ready. I was holding one of the cabinets because the guy needed to get his girlfriend's name or whatever. So I was holding it. I didn't reserve it. So I lost it. And I ended up having to pay for the difference in the price out of pocket, right? Because it was my fault, right? So that was a mistake. That wasn't a mistake on promotion, but that was a mistake. I totally have learned from that mistake, right? So that, like, for that particular offer, I totally wrote that down, and that mistake sticks with me, right? So it was like, make sure that your communication is the right email address and that you are the one getting all the email. I check that religiously now, right? So you're going to make mistakes. Don't be sad that you make the mistakes. I mean, don't get me wrong. That additional $600 I had to drop on the difference of price of the cabins hurt me, but I promise you I'll never make it again, right? And same thing with you. You're going to make mistakes, but make sure you understand what they are, learn from them, and then make sure as a part of your process, you have it so you don't do it again, right? We are not perfect. We may be superheroes, but we are not perfect. And we are going to make mistakes. Just make sure you understand what they are, document them, make sure that you document it in a way that not only you benefit from not making it again, but anyone on your team does as well. All right. And so we do this as a team. Like, we go through like how it all is and how we're, what we're going to do and what we're not going to do. Like, I mean, we had just as simple as like in a promotion, and like we'll have an email series, and like a date is messed up, right? So now we've got to double check that happens just to make sure that the sequence of the dates are going out, because nothing is worse than just simple things that you can fix, right? And just making sure that stuff doesn't happen anymore. All right. Any questions? Are you guys finding value in this? Is this helpful to you? Let me know in the comments. As I take a sip. Yeah, Yolanda, that was a painful lesson. That I'll never forget that. All right, perfect. So here's a recap of kind of the questions and the things that you need to consider when it comes to planning out your services and your booking. And so what I want to remind you guys is your core offer doesn't just have to be a booking. Your core offer can be a service, right? You can create a service and that service be the main thing that you want to make money off of, right? If you love doing research and you love designing and you love it, charge for it, right? And that be your core offer. And that's the thing that you promote. So when it comes to promoting inside of your communities or other communities, you're promoting your $250 design fee, right? I design amazing itineraries, right? It's $250 for me to do that. This is what you're going to get when you do it, right? So you go through that whole definition process and you make sure that you've got a way to promote it. You promote it and then you see, right? So this recap is right at the end of that document. So I've already included the link at the beginning of this conversation. So if you just click on this link, and I'll put this link right here again. So here's the planner, the link to the planner. And then that link to the planner, this recap is right here at the bottom. So here, what you just need to do is, you've got step one, which is you want to define what that service or that booking or product is that you've got. Make sure you have a clear definition of what it is, what's included, what's not included, the benefits to your client, who it's intended for. You want to make sure you've got a solid plan identified. And then step three is you want to implement to ensure that you're following the plan. Do not be thinking of stuff on the fly. Really, you want to make sure that you've thought through as much of the details of your plan, not only of the actions, but the people that you need to be successful in your plan. If you've got a core money maker and it is a booking, you should have an accompanied BDM to be attached to that, right? Who is the person on, if you're not going to be there at the trip, if it's a fit or if it's a group and you're not going to be there, who is your person at site, right? It should be on this chat. I see it. So hold on, let me put it there again. There it is. It should be, make sure that you have the right people a part of your plan, right? We are superheroes that need sidekicks. So make sure you know who you need, what you need, right? Who are your suppliers? Who are you going to be needing when it comes to promotion? Do you need suppliers when it comes to promoting your offer, right? Make sure you understand what the plan is, who you need, and what you need in order to execute. Make sure you have it down to the date level. Like, when are you going to start your promotion? When is it going to end? Right? And then implement, do it. There's nothing else. That's all you need to write and implement. Do it. Just do it. Just follow the plan and get it done. Make sure that you don't skip steps, right? Don't get me wrong. There are times in my plan that I will skip steps, but there's some specific reasons. And if I skip a step, I document why I skipped it, right? Because is it something that I don't need to have in the plan? Is it something that I'm fearful? And you know what? Oftentimes when I skip steps, it's because I'm scared. I'm not going to lie. It's because I'm scared. I'm like, maybe it's not going to, like, I thought about this promotion thing. It's either that I'm scared or I've run out of time and I didn't plan enough time to get the thing done, right? So if you're skipping steps to your plan, really ask yourself why you're doing that. So step 3 is about implementing. Step 4 is about tracking your performance at the frequency that will not cause you to stop doing your plan, right? Monitor your results. Evaluate what went well, what didn't go well, what you'll continue in the future, and then keep that baby dusted off and do it again. Because we are in the business of making money, right? And in order to make money, you have to have something for people to purchase. That means if you don't have a core offer and you don't have a promotion coming up around those core offers, you're not making money, right? Period. End of story. I don't have to guess if you're making money or not. If you don't have a core offer, if any of you guys answered 0, you don't have a core offer, you're not making money, right? And maybe you're making money on historical things that you're selling and commissions are just now coming in. That's okay. But what happens when all of that is over with? What happens when the trips happen, right? So you need to have a reason for people to buy and you need to create that reason. All right. So you guys have said that that's been helpful, and I am super excited that that is the case. Listen, I have something for you. If you need help with defining your core offer, I'm going to ask you to type the word core offer, and we will schedule a 15-minute conversation with you and me to determine if my power hour would be a great option for you. So put core offer if you'd like to schedule some time for us to determine if a power hour would be good for you. Let me tell you who a power hour is good for. That is a 90-minute conversation with me. It is a paid conversation. 15 minutes is free, but the power hour is a 90-minute. It is literally a crash course with me. And we talk about one thing in that power hour. And we are talking, if we decide that your core offer is what we'll be talking about, we in 90 minutes will go over what you need to do specifically to get that. Inclusive of that power hour, you're going to get a 90-minute session with me. And then you'll also get a 30-minute follow-up session after our 90-minute session. And you'll get the recording of our call. You'll also get my notes that I take during that. And I'm pretty meticulous when it comes to notes. So type core offer, we'll reach out to you. It'll either be myself or it'll be Jaylyn who will reach out to you. Jaylyn is on my team. She is one of our client support specialists. So if you do not get a response from me, look it out in your message request from Jaylyn. She'll reach out to you as well. Listen, if maybe a power hour is not that great for you because you need to get all of your stuff done, right? So maybe you need to have the whole kit and caboodle. Your business foundations may be what you need for your business. If you don't know who your audience is, you don't know who your clients, you don't even know how to find them, then you may need to get business foundations. So business foundations is our program where we actually will work with you to get all of that down. Now, Yolanda, you do not have to worry about that. I will reach out to you separately because you are already a part of our program. So I'll reach out to you, Yolanda, and I will make sure that we get some time get some time on my calendar. If you're not in the program, then you don't get the benefit of what Yolanda gets, and we will reach out to you. So listen, either write business foundations if you need help with the entire thing, like you don't have any of your foundations in your business and you want to get stronger, let me know, business foundations, and we'll talk to you about to see if the program is a good fit for you. If not, I'll let you know that as well. Core offer, if you'd like to have me talk to you about a 90-minute coaching session with me. Listen, you will not see us until we are in the fancy Cancun. So I'm like super, 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 super excited about being in Cancun because, in a minute, and this is not really a vacation. This is really a work trip. But I'm like super excited to be meeting because a lot of these women I've not met in person. So I'm excited to be meeting them in person. But if you have missed it, we also are doing Dubai. We're doing our first like far away fan trip in January. And so you want to look out for the posts for that. And that is going down in January. So I'm not going to spend the time talking too much about that because we are right there at the top of the hour. Listen, ladies, did you guys enjoy this tonight? Did you guys enjoy tonight's session? I haven't done one of these kinds of sessions in a long time where I actually go through a planner or a how-to guide or something like this. So this was kind of fun. So I'm going to have to add these more in our trainings. Did you guys enjoy this kind of walkthrough and review? Let me know in the comments because if I don't get good comments, I'll never do it again. I'll never do this kind of thing again. Because, I only want to make sure that this is helpful. Yes, you did. Perfect, Anitra. I'm glad to hear that. I am glad. Yolanda, I am super excited that you were doing better. And we got study hall tomorrow. So if you can, join me in study hall tomorrow and we'll get you scheduled so we can talk. I want to talk to you about some things offline. So we'll make that happen tomorrow night. Jazz, thank you. Can't wait to see you. Jazz, Robin, can't wait to see you too. Listen, ladies, you get one life. You get one life. So do it well. Do your life well. Do your passion well. And if you need any help, we're here to do that. So you guys have a fabulous evening. And the next time you see me, I will be in Cancun, Mexico. So you guys have a great evening. Talk to you soon.